Everyone, from me, Brent Graham, Thursday night at 9 o'clock. Time for the Handicap Rugby Chat that matters. I trust I'm looking a little bit more sprightly than I did for this morning show, where I was joined by Oracle and Steve from New Zealand to talk about the Bledisloe Cup game this morning. Of course, we've got plenty of rugby to chat about tonight. We've got the Rugby Championship game between Argentina and South Africa. And then we've got the start of the URC, we've got the NPC, and we've got the Gallagher Premiership. I've told the guests here today, don't feel obliged to talk on every game. If you don't have an opinion, we just skip over it. And, we'll certainly be talking. If this is how the following weekends are going to go, we'll probably look at different ways and perhaps do a couple of spin-off shows focusing on, for example, the Gallagher Premiership, maybe on a Friday or something like that, when we've got more team news out. But let's introduce the panel. He hosted the show last week. Chris, thanks very much, mate. It was great to have you standing in for me while I was at the Bachelors. Mm-hmm. And welcome to the show as a guest this time. I trust you're looking forward to a good weekend of punting. Chris? Can you hear me, Henrik?
I can hear you, Brent.
Okay, well, let me start with Henrik then. I didn't pick up Chris's sound there. So, Henrik, I know you've just sort of walked in. You've got load shedding. It's dark there in Cape Town. How are things going on your side?
Yeah, Brent, I've got load shedding. I've got a little headlamp here that I use for lighting in the room I am. I've just come from birthday party, early afternoon birthday party, so I haven't done as much research as I should, but I'm very excited for the weekend's rugby. We got kicked off with the game earlier today. I'm looking forward to the Springboks game. I'm looking forward to the start of the URC and obviously the NPC. I'm not that big on the Gallagher Premiership, but lots of rugby, like you said. So whatever rugby you are into, you should have something for this weekend to get you going.
Yeah, certainly there is plenty to talk about. Just one comment I want to highlight. Paul Scumby came on earlier and said, I looked like I needed a shave. I can tell you, Paul, that I still haven't shaved, but he says I look better, and that must be because of my Leinster top. And I just want to thank Mark Dunphy. I'm sure Mark will probably be joining us at some point. He sent me a Leinster top. I could write a book on how hard it was for him to get me the Leinster top and all that he went through. But I don't want that to discourage anyone else from sending like Munster tops and stuff like that. Now, I'm just kidding. But Mark Dunphy, if you are listening now, thanks very much, man. Absolutely a brilliant top. I wore it last week in Cape Town, and it fits great. And I can't wait to wear it to Loftus in a few weeks' time. Chris,
Brent, did you say Munster now?
Yeah, I said you could send me a Munster shirt and I'll wear it on the.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm a Leinster man through and through now. And Chris, yourself, we got your sound sorted out, mate.
Yeah, I think I lost you guys. My connection dropped you for a while there. Yeah, good. Thanks, man. Brett, going really well. I'm having a good week on the betting front, so that was good. Today's game was wild. It was Bledisloe is the pinnacle, isn't it? They just some classics, those two countries, and I got my bets in as well this morning, so feeling good.
Excellent. We're going to get onto the Rugby Championship now. Lots of guys in the live chat, so guys, thanks for joining us. Paul saying it's the lighting that's better. It's interesting you say that, Paul. Most people would argue I look better in the dark, but good to hear I'm looking better with the improved lighting. And Henrik, let's hope we can get through the show before your batteries and that die there. So thanks to all the boys joining me. Let's get straight in. Rugby Championship. Chris, I'm going to start with you. I can sense your connection's not 100%. So if we do battle with you, I might don't be offended if I mute you and move on to Henrik until it's better. But let's start with you. Quick one on this morning. I know you won overs points, if I'm not mistaken, this morning. So a decent match for you, I would imagine. I actually missed the game. I just watched the highlights. What a cracking match. We won't discuss that controversial decision because it was controversial, whichever way you look at it. I've seen arguments for both sides. But what a game of rugby, eh?
Oh, it was brilliant. Australia started badly, but you could see they were up for it. The attitude was right. And then New Zealand would just be in New Zealand. Australia just didn't go away. And, if you want to be pedantic, letter of the law, they were time wasting, but you've never seen it blown up like that ever. So, very, very, that was heartbreaking. It was hard to watch for them, to be honest, because they should have won.
Yeah, well, I'm not even going to ask Henrik on that. I'm going to let his head shaking tell you all you need to know on that one. But Chris, let's get into Argentina against South Africa here. We've got Argentina plus 8.5. Now, the Oracle this morning was calling Australia to win, and he was bloody close on that one. Let's face it, probably argue he was robbed there. And he also called Argentina. He reckons Argentina are going to beat the Boks here. What do you think? Because it looks to me as though money, if anything, has come for the Boks here.
Yeah, no, that's quite surprising. I wasn't expecting that from the Oracle. Yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm quite comfortable with the Boks at the moment. I mean, I think Argentina, they've proven this championship that they've played very, very well. I mean, they had 2 massive games and then complete no-show, which is quite interesting. But I think, I must admit, I didn't give them enough credit during the summer series against Scotland. I didn't think they were quite where they need to be, but Checker, has got them in playing much better. They look a lot more dangerous on attack, so they are providing opportunities. But I think it's just the spot of this game, right? Everyone's in this competition, so it's not a dead rubber. I mean, Argentina have probably been eyeing this test as well. We, for the first time, have got a consistency in selection, which I love. I prefer this team. This for me is closest to our stronger side. He's kept it together. So I do see a real ding-dong battle. I don't think any team are going to hold it back. The only thing I worry about is when we go searching for points and bonus points, we fall off our game plan and we can get scrappy. But in saying that, I think we if we put another defensive effort like we did, will be hard to beat. But I'm not going to back that because we haven't put those World Cup winning defense and performances for the last couple of years, right? So I'm not expecting us to go there and maybe hold the fort like we did against Australia. But because I think the teams are going to go for it, because this is the perfect opportunity. So I like the Boks. To say this line went out. I think it was 6 earlier. Did you guys started to get a bit much? So I'm actually going to eye out the points here and the book points, to be honest.
Looking at overs there, I will go to Henrik now. Henrik,
you hear me right, guys? I think my line's not good.
Yeah, it's not great. You are breaking a little bit. If you want to go out and try come back in again, Chris, you can do so. Well, in the meantime,
let me go out and come back in. Yeah,
I'll chat to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Cool.
Chat to Henrik in the meantime.
Okay.
Henrik, I guess the one thing unfortunate about the New Zealand win, whichever way you want it, is an Australian win would really have opened this competition up. As if it wasn't open already, it would have been good. I guess they did fail to get the bonus point. And just remind me in this tournament, because I haven't followed it. I've been so hectic. I haven't followed it that closely. Is it the more than 3 try bonus, or is it the 4 tries that you need to score?
Brent, I actually don't know. I suspect Oracle would know because he's. It sounds like he's really invested in the outright on the tournament. I've no idea about the 3 tries or the 4 tries. I think it should be the 3 tries, 3 or more. So then New Zealand would not have gotten the bonus point.
Yeah, in fact, that totally makes sense because obviously they scored 4 tries in that score. So they had to score 3 more tries in the opposition, so they didn't.
Yeah, but away when it's so close at the moment in this competition. So away win is huge. They got gifted the win by the ref. Terrible, shocking call. The worst call in refereeing history, in my opinion. It was wrong. Anyway, Argentina game. This game, I like the Boks pretty much picked the same starting 15 than the previous game. Argentina, they were played off the park in the last game against New Zealand, but they've showed some good form throughout the tournament. But I kind of like the Boks on the minus here, and in my opinion, the money for the Boks is the right money at the moment. But I think the safer bet here is points. I think there will be lots of points. So pick your team, or if you don't want to pick one of the teams, just go over some total points and enjoy the game. But if you fancy one of the 2 teams, take overs on your team's points, because with the kind of team the Boks have picked, they will score a few points. Even the last game against Australia, where they won comfortably, they left a few tries on the park. And I think Argentina, always when they play, there's lots of points in their games. And the ref here, James Dolman, in my opinion, He's one of the out and out overs refs in international games. He doesn't get a lot of international games. He's more of a super rugby ref, finding his feet in international rugby, but he is an overs ref. So this, for me, I'm unsure about the handicap, but I'll lean towards the box. But overs on points here. Pick your team or enjoy the game and take overs on total points here.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice strategy for this game. I have to agree with you there. A couple of Irishmen coming through. Mark, of course, Mark Dunphy, not staying in Ireland. He joined late. Mark, I did give you a big thank you and a big shout out to this Leinster shirt. And I also told the boys that there's a story to this shirt. It wasn't as simple to get it to me as you might have thought. And some are probably going to say that this is one of the most expensive rugby shirts ever sent to anyone anywhere in the world. So we'll talk about that another time.
Brent, you told me the short story last Friday night when we met up. That was so nice to meet up with you at last after so many years. Have a beer in person. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Henrik, you and I have chatted, so it's no surprise that we recognized each other straight away. We've been on the show so many times together. But to meet up was absolutely brilliant. To some of the other guys that were there as well, Robert Koenig as well. I mean, I've dealt with him a lot over the years. So good to see. And of course, the Oracle was on absolutely top form as well, especially when he said to us, no, don't worry, guys, let's walk to the waterfront. It's only 2.5 blocks. As opposed to the 2.5 kilometers, I think we ended up walking at about 11 o'clock at night. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. His poor wife was in high heels. I mean, that was Oracle at his.
We basically had to bribe the waiter to keep the kitchen open for us because we arrived there after 11.
That's it. And Mark saying, don't worry, he's been busking to make the money. Lovely, Mark. As I say, thanks a lot. I absolutely love this jersey and can't wait to wear it till after as well. Christopher seems to be battling with his connection, Henrik, which is probably not good news because I know of the three of us, he's by far the most prepared when it comes to all of these games tonight. But let's go into the URC. I can always come back when Chris comes in and see what he comes up with. And you can just give me your opinion. As I said, so many games to talk about. Feel free to skim over it if you don't have any view. But the first one is Benetton Treviso plus 3.5 against Glasgow Warriors.
Yeah, this looks like a tight one. Benetton, obviously the better of the two Italian teams. Glasgow and Edinburgh, they both quality teams. Like I said, I'm not very well prepared on this, and I'm a bit wary on the first weekend. But if I was pushed, I'd go for Benetton on the plus tier. Benetton on the plus 3.5. I think, and if you're not strong in it, go for the Benetton to win the game and get a bit of better value because in a game as this, the win might be the better game.
All right, let's see Chris, and we'll see what Chris has got to say. Chris, let's see if you're back with us properly on this one.
Yeah, guys. I heard what Hendrik said there at the end there, and I agree. I'm also getting Benetton on the plus 6 or 7. And I think, I agree. It's early doors. I think Benetton have beaten Glasgow quite recent, last 2 meetings. I see there's a weather around. I think it's going to be heavy. So I think that will slow the game down. So I think it plays into a tight first game there. And I think the plus medium confidence Benetton on the plus there.
Well, we'll stick with you, Chris. Zebra plus 27.5. I'm sure Henrik will have a bit of an opinion on this one. His favourite team playing plus 27.5 against my team Leinster.
Yeah. You can't be looking past Leinster minus 27, can you? I don't think I saw the team. I don't know if it should still. They've been not the full strength side. Hugo Keenan's out, James Lowe, so a few of the Irish guys are out, but you got to back that they can have the quality. It's big handicaps. You know me, I don't normally go on a minus unless I'm like over the top confident. If I'm not sure what bet I'll be placed on this game, but if to make the pick, it would be you have to back Leinster against Zebra. You'll be a brave man to take Zebra plus against Leinster any day of the week, right?
Henrik, maybe the answer, and I'm sure the quote will be low, but is a Zebra unders?
Brent, this is 2 teams I like to take on. I always go against Leinster, actually. I love going against Leinster. I've actually been quite successful going against Leinster because the bookmakers, they have this perception about Leinster. And like I like going against Zebra as well, and I've done quite well on that one as well. So this is a difficult game for me. I won't be putting any money on this one.
Yeah, Mark's also confirmed that it's going to be a second team. That's what I thought as well. So yeah, I agree. It's not a betting game for me either. But yeah, if you're asking how it's going to go, I don't bet a lot on these big caps. Like it's too tough for me.
Just for Reed making the point there, Zebra has
I don't interesting guys.
Team. Sorry, Chris.
No, carry on. Sorry. Okay.
I'm saying for Reed making the point, Zebra has a brand new team. So so he says the handicap's too big. So I'm taking that as a positive that they've brought players in, as opposed to lost a lot of players. So yeah, but it probably is a game to avoid maybe and have a look for if you are going to watch it some sort of a total points play. Yeah. Anything else before we move on to the next game there, Chris?
Well, they had brought actually. Do you guys remember Kobus van Wyk? He's there now. He played for Province Sharks, Hurricanes. Yes. Then he's become a journeyman, so he's there. He probably will be a decent player for them. Creel from the Bulls, he's also there. So a few South Africans as usual, Jacques du Toit. So yeah, probably can match this Leinster side if it's a second string side physically.
Right, Henrik, we'll go to you for the next game. It's the two South African teams in action. A nice derby here. Lions plus 8.5 against the Blue Bulls. Straining my head, I think Oracle was on the Lions this morning, which obviously wouldn't have been a surprise to match. In fact, he picked the three underdogs at about 66 to 70 to 1, he said, to win on the board. Obviously, Australia, unfortunately, just failing to get that one off to a winning start. What are your thoughts on this game, Henrik?
Yeah, Brent, Oracle was on the Lions to win the game, and he is a Lions supporter. But in his defense, and like he has told us so many times before, he has been picking the Lions pretty well. And on Friday night when we met up, I probably had a 3-hour conversation with him about the Lions, and I think I got in about 5 words in that 3 hours. The Bulls obviously they recruited pretty well, and they picked a few guys from the Lions. They got they've recruited quite well. They've got a great squad, but I have a sneaky feeling that the Lions will go well this season. Even though they've lost a few players, they are at home. It's a yesterday derby. For me, a small play on the plus. I won't actually be surprised if the Lions win this game. Everybody will probably be on the Bulls, and I think if you wait, there will be a bit more money on the Bulls, and you can probably get a plus 10.5 thereabouts. And really unsure, just take the plus 3.5, 4.5 halftime handicap on the Lions. I think that will be a runner as well. I expect the Lions to go better than most people expect this year. So for me, a plus player.
There seems to be quite a lot of agreement in the live chat, although not everybody. I think Farid saying he likes the Bulls on the monitor. You're just chuckling at your comment about Oracle giving you 5 words over the 3 hours. Because, I mean, it was about 1 a.m. We all wanted to go home, and Oracle was still eating his pizza. And he told me he's a slow eater. But I've got a theory on Oracle that he's not a slow eater at all. He just is
he's not a slow eater.
Talker. I mean, you've got to stop talking to put food in your mouth. And we eventually caught an Uber home at about 1 o'clock. Then Oracle got into a dispute with the Uber driver. No, we had a absolutely classic weekend. But we'll let him talk about that himself sometime. Chris, plus 8.5 the Lions. Where are you on this one?
Yeah, well, I'm actually quite surprised seeing the Lions, Lavia, to be honest. I'm opposite. The Bulls I was looking at this will be one of my better bets of the weekend. I just think the Bulls have recruited better. The Lions have lost for Sachuka, Sazalami, big players for them last year. Bulls are going to be angry from the final last year. I think they're going to come out firing, and I don't think the Lions will live with them. I like the Bulls to win, to cover the cap.
Well, just as we mentioned him there, Oracle XL coming in, Lions. He, of course, is also Oraclepedia. So, we had a great time with Oracle. I must say, the only thing about going to sleep at Oracle's house is there's a snake in the room that you sleep in. And I must say, that did make for some quite stressful nights there. Right, Chris, we'll stick with you. Cardiff Rugby plus 6.5 against Munster.
Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, I mean, Munster, new coach. They've obviously lost Delelandi, but yeah, that just obviously makes them a little bit you can't really look maybe at last year's form. They were very inconsistent last year. Cardiff weren't that impressive either, but they've actually recruited well. So I've jumped on this game, to be honest, Brent. First, I was very confident Munster. Then when I was looking at the game today, I thought, okay, Cardiff are in this game, even though I think Munster should be too good for Cardiff. And, the Wales, the Welsh regions are struggling. I won't know what they're really going to be, but they say they've got Falatau, Liam Williams. These are big players that are going to add a lot to Cardiff this season. So I'm going to be sitting on the fence now on this game because, as I said, not quite sure what Munster are really going to be. Cardiff at home, strengthened a bit. I think this cap's about right now.
Excellent. We'll go down and see if Hendrik's got an opinion on this one. Just a reminder, though, if you do enjoy the show, give us a like. It helps the channel a lot. And also do go down below and subscribe to the newsletter. There will be a best bet this weekend, and no doubt an ACCA as well with all this rugby. We've also got a link there to the Good for the Game forum. But Hendrik, your views on this one?
Yeah, Brent, I used to like going against Munster because of Johan van Graan. Because, I don't think Johan van Graan is a good coach. So now, and they've lost Damien de Lende now as well. So I'll probably go for the home team here on a plus. Cardiff, just a small play. I'm very unprepared on the URC, to be honest. So I'd like to see the first round, but yeah, just a hunch to go on the plus here on the home team on Cardiff.
Right, well, I'll stick with you then. See if you've got any view on Scarlets up against Ospreys, the Welsh derby.
Yeah,
I'm guessing. I was going to say, I'm guessing this isn't the game you focused on, Hendrik.
No, not at all. I'm not. I haven't. Like I said, I haven't done much research in this. If anything, I reckon this should be an unders game, a derby between two Welsh teams. I think unders on points here. If you can get mid-40s or up, you can take the unders on total points here.
I know Shane on Twitter. Shane, you were putting some stuff on past seasons, and I think you were looking at overs on quite a lot of the games. So just stick your Twitter handle up in the because I can't remember it by heart. Obviously, to see you, Shane. Just put your Twitter handle up, and I'll put it up on the screen. If any of the guys want to go and have a look what you had to say on Twitter, there they can do so. Right, let's get your views on the Scarlets Ospreys, Chris.
Yeah, this game is traditionally a game I don't get involved in. I don't often get involved in the Welsh derbies because previously they've been dour. And as same as Henrik, I noticed today that this game was traditionally an unders game, except barring the last one, were a lot of points. But it was the back end of the season on a fast dry pitch, so that's where the points are coming. So I think to start the season off with a derby, you wouldn't be expecting that many points this time round. So I agree with Henrik here. Once every couple of months on an unders play, this is a good unders play probably as well. Battle to pick. I think they're quite evenly matched teams.
Right, if you want to go have a look at those stats, Oranje _1979 is where you can find him on there. Chris, we're going to stay with you for the next game in the URC. Edinburgh minus 14.5 against the Dragons. Haven't seen Jules on the show for a while. Perhaps he'll return to talk about his beloved Dragons at some point.
No, the Dragons, yeah. Look, I also agree. I mean, first rounds, I've always said I never dive in full head first, and it's never overconfidence. But I have had a good look this weekend, obviously, even preparing for the game, and even looking at this game, I've Edinburgh home points served me well last season at home to the Dragons. Even though it's the first game, I'll be looking at Edinburgh home team points again. If I can get anything close to, I hope it will be mid-20s. But if it's anything under 30, I'll be over a Dragon. Edinburgh used to play on Murrayfield, which was a heavy pitch, especially through the winter. So those games were low scoring, but they've got a fast track now on their new ground. The points are coming. They've also got some nice signings there. Wes Hurston's joined them. So I'm gonna keep that strategy. Definitely, even in Edinburgh, alt points over 20 with a double is pretty much a good thing.
Well, Mark Dunphy and Sharkbrain coming in exactly the same time in the live chat, comparing Dragons to Zebra in terms of the fact that Hendrik Zabri Dragons are the Welsh zebras. So any views on this one? Maybe looking at a Dragons unders?
Yeah, Brent, Dragons, they're a bit of a crappy team. I know on the show, you and the guy whose name I can't remember now. Yeah, Jules, you've been speaking about Dragons a lot, and they are they are obviously one of the worst teams in the URC. So yeah, I agree with Chris here. Minus 14.5, that looks good for a home game for Edinburgh. Both the Scottish teams, they're quality teams. So yeah, 2 converted tries and a penalty. You've got to go with the home team here. And Chris saying they're playing on a faster pitch, then you obviously have to go for the points here, because the Scottish teams, they normally play a pretty positive kind of game. So yeah, that if you can get 30 thereabouts, I agree with Chris. You have to go for the overs there.
Right, well, let's stick with you for the next game, and it's Ulster against Connacht. We've got a minus 11.5. And I think there was a comment earlier on that that I'll bring up as well, suggesting that this could be an interesting matchup as far as the points go. It came from Shane. Hendrik, I'll stick with you. Did you have a look at this one?
Yeah, Brent, Ulster were good to me last season. They are building nicely. I actually, earlier in the season, halfway through the season last season, I tipped them to win the URC. So I like Ulster. I've always been a bit of a fan of Connacht as well, but they're actually probably better when they're playing at home at the sports ground. It's tough playing down there. So yeah, 11.5. It's probably a well set handicap for a derby. You have to. I haven't had a look at the teams that has been picked for this game, and closer to the time I will probably. If pushed, I'll probably go for Ulster, because Ulster at home and they are a quality team, but not very confident this one. Points wise, yeah, probably an unders game for me as well. I reckon both teams' defense should be up for it.
Right, Farid reckons Connacht can cover this. Always start well, but fade as the season progresses. And Sharkray asking there. Thank goodness we don't have to bet on Dragons v Zebra. We'll definitely, I think the points quote will be like 21.5 there. Right, Chris, the final URC game. Are you saving something strong for us in this one?
No, I wish, Brent. But I see I'm logged in as good for the game there, so I'm gonna make some dodgy comments there, and you can guess who that is. Yeah, I think again an Irish derby, early doors. Connacht, by rule, I don't back Connacht away from home. They'll break your heart. I've so many times at home against Ulster, first game up. I think this is a few points. Even though I think Ulster are going to have a good season as well. But I think for first game up at Connacht, this is a nice one for Connies to get their tails up and give Ulster a good run. So yeah, medium to strong, like the plus, yeah.
Right, let's talk a bit of Bunnings NPC. And Chris, I'll kick off with you. Taranaki minus 12.5 against Manawatu.
Sure. So these teams I think they're the worst performing teams of the NPC. I think Henrik, weren't you quite bullish on the Taranaki preseason? I think they must have.
Yes, I was. Yeah. But they've been terrible, eh? Terrible.
Yeah, they've been bad. But the thing is, you can't. Even though they've been bad, they're probably twice as good as Manawatu. So it's going to be an interesting game. If you're going to have a player, you've got to be on Taranaki. Look, actually, to be fair, Manawatu have been slowly getting maybe better. They are scoring more points. They had a terrible start. I'll be honest. I've on the cap wise for NPC, it's just been a roller coaster. I get one game, not the next game. I get one game, and then on Saturday I did it again, and I was playing the caps, alt caps, and missing, and then I just went no, stuff this, and I went back to my trusted points strategy for NPC, and the rest of the weekend was perfect. I don't see anything different. If the weather's good, and I think it is, I don't think you need to look past some more points going down out there. So I know none of the points lines are out, but as we go through NPC, I'm going to be talking a lot about points than the cap, to be honest.
Well, bullish from Claire out there, Taranaki, Edinburgh double. He says, put your house on. Chris, I think the points that I'm just looking here on player bets, we've got a point line of 56.5 there. Now, I know that is generally where the NPC games get priced up, but from all the comments I've seen, and I haven't followed it too closely, it's like almost like the Curry Cup in its prime. The 60 pluses are just rolling in, eh?
It's playing exactly like the Curry Cup, but it's quite frustrating because I think I mentioned 2 Curry Cups ago, I was having a blast on the overs, and then Curry Cup was struggling just because teams go up and there's a lot of like Hendrik says, it's literally games of 2 halves a lot of the time, and that's what's quite difficult because when it's just no defense, caps get blown out easily with a 10-minute spell in these games. So like I said, I get these bet builders and these outs, and you get the lowest alt points now in totals and team totals. They're covering that by miles, and I'm getting close to even money on these bets, and that's my strategy. 56. I mean, at the moment, you'll be brave to go under 56 unless there's literally a torrential storm coming through, because even the weather's also, again, the weather has got me bad on NPC. I've seen rain. I'm logged on 4 a.m. and there's bloody no cloud in sight. And then I'm like, rain, there's going to be no points. I'm going to go unders, and 56 shits in. So it's like, it's been a very tough competition for me to follow. But I had a good weekend last weekend. I'm staying on my point strategy.
Right, now, fair enough. If a strategy is working, then stick with it. Yeah. Henrik, given that you fancy these guys for a decent season, they've disappointed. Is this maybe the time to make some money back on them, see them come to form, or do you rather just avoid them and write them off?
Brent, I obviously got Taranaki very wrong here, labeling them as a good team for the season. They've been horrible. Manawatu, they've been even worse. They shipped a lot of points. Like Chris said, the safe option probably is just to blindly go over some total points in the NPC. If you get 7 points for the week, 7 games for the weekend, you'll probably get 5 games that goes overs. You'll get the 1 game that goes like 16-10 or something like that, a very small game. But the safe one, and I saw the one comment on the Good for the Game forum as well from one of the New Zealand punters that he posted there that he expects points here. And he made a good comment that there's a lot of injuries and it's seasoned players against guys that's coming through, and they're not used to the level. So the defense is not up there. The defense is horrible. So like Chris said as well, lots of games have 2 halves, but the points keep flowing. And I think the safe one is just to go over some total points. You have to be very brave to take unders. And I love going unders, but I haven't gone unders a lot on the NPC because it's very dangerous. On the Taranaki Manawatu game, if you have to push me for a handicap here, I'll probably go Taranaki because Manawatu is just so poor as well. And Taranaki, they are terrible, but at 2 converted tries against Manawatu. But I think actually, and I'm going to probably contradict myself here, but I think Manawatu overs if you get less than 20 points on Manawatu, because they will score 3 tries. It's just the way that the games are played in the NPC. There's lots of tries. Yeah. It's like ping pong, and you get lots of late tries as well. So Manawatu overs on total points, but on the handicap, I have to go probably for home team. But I like the NPC, but it has been unpredictable for me this year.
Stressful.
This year.
But you still, overall, I know you've had some good weeks in the NPC, because I know.
I'm still up on the NPC.
Yeah, you've done well, but
but not like previous years where I've really killed it. It's not at that level. I'm up, but I've actually struggled a bit on the NPC compared to the previous years.
Right, well, let's stick with you for the next game. Counties up against Canterbury, plus 14.5.
This handicap actually looked big for Counties. You've been so impressive. But Canterbury, they are the Canterbury of old. I haven't seen the team here, but if Owen Franks is playing, and most their team, it's a lot of Super Rugby fringe players playing for them, and they've been really impressive. They've had 1 or 2 hiccups. They lost against Taranaki earlier this season, and when Taranaki were crap. But even though this is a away game, you have to go for Canterbury. Yeah, but this is a massive overs game, in my opinion. Counties have scored points. They've shipped points. Canterbury have scored a lot of points. So anything under 60, take total points here, or take Canterbury over 40, over 45 points here. It's 14 and a half. Yeah, you'll get.
It's 55 and a half. I see we got a quote here at Player Bets. 55 and a half is total points. So that's
we have to go over.
You can take Canterbury over 55 and a half points.
A nice confident call. Chris, are you going to rubber stamp that first?
Yeah, I'm going to rubber stamp it. I've been enjoying Canterbury. They get the basics right. They don't panic. They just do even against Northland last week. Northland have having a great season. Through the kitchen sink first half. Again, it was raining. I thought, yeah, we go. My overs is screwed. But never fear, Canterbury saved the day in the second half. But I agree. County's been shipping points. I think Manawatu got up to 30 points last against them, if I'm not mistaken. So they ship points. I think if Country just, as you like, same as you do, they should be covering this cap, and 55 points should be broken. I'll say that's quite a confident call.
Right, let's stick with you, Chris. Auckland. Is this 9.5? No, minus 9.5. This is wrong. Okay.
Wrong way.
Yeah.
It's definitely wrong. So it's minus 9.5 against Tasman.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Auckland's been one of the teams that I can't catch. And Tasman are not performing as well as they should be. I think they have lost a bit of personnel that were doing well for them previously. Again, teams, I haven't seen if Reese is playing or not. But I'd say this is a tricky game, so I'm not going to get involved because Auckland home generally I like. But if Tasman come and play a little bit of a disruptive game, they might give Auckland a team. I think if there's one game, they might go unders. It could be this game. But there's no confidence there.
Any confidence from you on this game, Henrik?
Yeah, that underscore from Chris, I think that's a bit of a dangerous one because Auckland, they like playing, and Tasman, like you said, Tasman, they've been really poor. In Auckland, I think you have to go for a minus here. A year or two back, this would have been crazy. You would have Tasman would have been favourites by probably 5-6 points, playing away from home against Auckland. But Tasman, they've been so poor. Yeah, I'm not confident, but minus here for me.
Yeah, if Tursavishek is playing and Riasi, I love any team with Riasi in it, and Lamb's playing well. They're so dangerous. When they want to score, they literally can seem like they can score from anywhere, but they do go missing some 15, 20 minutes a game sometimes, and that's my worry. I don't know if they're hard. They're very hard for me to read this, even though I really enjoy them when they're playing well.
So just confirming the points line, they're 51.5, which by NPC standards does seem...
I had a feeling it was lower points, but going under 51 is too risky. It is risky. If it was 56, I would be tempted at an unders, but 51 is a bit too... You can't be going under 51.
Right, let's
if it is 51, it's overs. I thought it would be 57, but 51, it's an overs game.
Yeah, quite a low quote for NPC. Next game, Henrik, Hawke's Bay. So you've got the betting right here, minus 5.5 against Wellington.
Yeah, Hawke's Bay, the guys that get tough, they get into the work against the pretty boys, the prima donnas from the capital. I don't like Wellington. I love going against Wellington. Guys like Julian Sevilla, terrible rugby player. I don't know what he's... He should not be close to any provincial side. It's a disgrace that he's been an All Black. He's a terrible rugby player. And against a team like Hawke's Bay that pulls together, Hawke's Bay on the minus all the way. I like Hawke's Bay a lot here.
Chris?
Overs. That's all I'm saying.
We don't have a line on that one, but probably about 55.5, 56.5. You'd still be going overs there.
Hawke's Bay at home, Wellington. it's decent conditions, there'll be some try ping pong going on. But the Hawke's Bay probably to cover if you want to play the cap.
Right, Otago plus 7.5 against Waikato. Chris?
Oh, sorry, me. Sorry, yeah. Waikato have been a great season. Really enjoying them. They really got their game together, playing well. Otago, very tricky one. Last season, good to me, but back then to follow them this season. I genuinely like them at home. If it was like Waikato of last season, this would be a plus play for me. But because it's Waikato this season playing really well, it's dodgy. So I think I'm going to stay out of this one, to be honest, on the cap. Even the points, they're obviously under the roof there. Waikato's game are scoring lots of points. So again, overs, but I'm not getting involved in the cap.
Right, and Hendrik, yourself on the Otago game?
Yeah, you have to go Waikato minus here. Waikato, they're defending champions. They have been brilliant this season. Yeah, you probably I'll back them on the minus, and this also seems like I was leaning points now, but then I remembered Waikato's defense has actually been pretty good. So yeah, Waikato on the minus here, and if maybe a bit of overs on Waikato as well, because they've scored a few points as well, but the defense has been decent. But to keep it simple, probably just Waikato minus here.
Right, just to welcome the conductor into the show. He's just got back from a night on the town. Just warning us that Brendan Pickrell's on the whistle in the Hawke's Bay Wellington game.
He screwed us last week, so here we are, bastards.
The boys are not happy to hear that conductor. Right, Hendrik will stay with you.
Takes all the air out of the sails when you see that guy's name on the.
When you see that, yeah. Bay of Plenty minus 14.5 against Southland.
Yeah, the conductor just in time for his best of the weekend. He's labelled this one on the forum on Twitter. He's all over the Bay of Plenty minus 14.5 here, and I have to agree with him. I was lining up Southland for a big season before the season, and in the earlier games we collected a few times on them, and then they started fading. And at the moment they're fading badly, and they've got the Storm week as well. Yeah, I think this handicap is way too low. Bay of Plenty, their quality side, and this is lots of points. Lots. Bay of Plenty, they score a lot of points. They are a very positive side. They've got the forwards to win the game, and they've got the backs to score the tries. This is one of the better bets of the month. The minus here and lots of points on Bay of Plenty. That handicap being just 14.5, you'll get a decent points line on Bay of Plenty, and I think they'll score close to 50 points here.
Yeah, I think I must get an advert on this. So when Hendrik says something like bet of the month, I can take a 1 minute commercial break and quickly get my bet on before the market moves. So,
but it's not just from me. The conductor.
Fair enough. The conductor likes it as well. And what do you think? It's going to be hard to oppose that now.
I don't think I've ever. I think did I talk up Southern last week? But then I think conductor managed to thankfully talk me out of it in the nick of time. But absolutely. But also Bay of Plenty. Who did it? Did they play Hawke's Bay last week? Henry, I think it was Bay of Plenty. They arrived and they screwed one of my caps last week. So if they and I was so cross because it was 1 million points in that game as well. Anyway, but if they bring that form again this week, Southern have absolutely zero chance on earth. So this cap is too low. It's probably at least 7 points, probably 14 points too short. And Southern will give you loads of points. They like to throw the ball around as well. They might get a couple tries in as well. So same broken record. Bay of Plenty plus, Bay of Plenty minus, Bay of Plenty points, overs points if you want to play it, but that's the play.
We'll get you going on the final NPC game, Chris. Northland plus half a point, so very much a choice game against North Harbour.
Yeah, cracker, and it is very much a choice game. So this is a tough one to call, to be honest, Brent. I've been enjoying Northland. I like their attitude. North Harbour also play well, but both teams have their moments, but also lack some quality. Sometimes not the better squads well, actually Harbour's not too bad, but Northland seem to be playing above themselves. But because they're playing well, I like. Well, they're coming off when teams come off a big game as well. It's a good side. I think they can keep that level up. Then they could probably give Harbour a good game. This is a tough one. I'm not going to call the game how it's going to go result wise. But again, if points will be the play maybe. But this game is not a confident game. I might probably, depending where I am on the weekend, I'll decide whether I place a bet. Yeah.
One thing I always know on a Sunday morning when I wake up, normally at around about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I look at my phone, I see the conductor messaging on Twitter, and I know he's up early. It doesn't matter what time he went to bed. He's always up for that Sunday morning game. Henrik, is this the sort of game that's going to get you out of bed or at very least awake at 25 to 7 on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, we've had a few 4 a.m. run-ins this season. It's been quite fun.
Brent, this is a tough one for me. I like both these teams. They've been pretty. I've enjoyed North Harbour. I'm going to be honest here. I've watched quite a bit of NPC this year, but I've managed to not watch one Northland game. I haven't seen them play. Strange as it is, I haven't seen Northland play live. But from what I've seen, I've watched some highlights from the games, and I've obviously checked the results. They've been defensively, they've been quite decent. North Harbour with Brent Graham and those guys, they've been pretty good. Vita Lee, their back three is they're lethal. Playing good rugby. I have a feeling at Northland will win this game, and I have a suspicion this will be an unders game. Even though there's lots of points in the NPC, there's just, in my opinion, with Northland being good on defense, and North Harbour don't mind taking the points with Brent Graham kicking well. I think this has the makings of an unders game here, but for me, Northland to win the game.
Right, well, that brings us to the end of the NPC. We're going to move into Gallagher Premiership, but I know, Henrik, Gallagher Premiership is a competition where you like to follow the boys as opposed to forging your own trail, very much like me as well. So let's get your best bets. I think we know what the best bet is potentially going to be, but give us maybe your top fancies on the weekend.
Yeah, Brent, on the NPC, my best bet, Bay of Plenty, and I'm probably following the conductor a bit, but also my own fancy. I like Bay of Plenty against Southland, because Southland, they have faded a bit. I like overs in the box game. I'm checking the odds on my other computer next to me. I like points in Argentina. I think there will be a bit of points. James Dolben, in my opinion, and that's something I learned from the Son of a Punt boys, who I don't know where they are. I haven't seen them. And Jordan from Son of a Punt, he labelled James Dolben as an overs ref quite early, and he is an out and out overs ref. And just the kind of teams the box picked and the kind of rugby Argentina play when they are at home. I think if you can get a points line of early 50s, or even, it will probably not be in the 40s, will probably be early 50s. Go overs or pick your team. And then in the URC, I'm a bit unsure about the URC this weekend. I'm not gonna label any bets in the URC. So my best bet, Bay of Plenty minus and points in that game as well, and Canterbury overs maybe as well, and then points in the Bok game.
Excellent, Henrik Swart. The unders take are always great to chat to you, and as we discussed last week, great to meet you as well.
Yes,
hopefully, I'll be down in Cape Town at some stage in the near future. But thanks a lot, Henrik.
Thanks,
Thank you, Brent.
I'm actually wondering what your book selection was. We aligned there.
Cheers,
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Henrik.
Shot, man. Thanks, Henrik. Right, Chris, that brings us to the Gallagher Premiership.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Conductor's still
Yeah,
a couple of
we
other
could
guys who've got a
chip in
fancy can post
there
their
and
comments.
give me some props up there as well. That'll be cool. Now, I have had a look at the Premiership, and the Premiership, I got 7 for 7 last week on my bets. I had a great first round, which is very rare because first rounds are usually not the best, but the games just played out as I was hoping they would, so it was a good start. So hopefully we can continue that.
Right, well, let's get cracking. Northampton Saints -6.5 against the London Irish. Now, just to mention before you start, I mean, I know team selection, obviously, perhaps in the Premiership more than others. So whatever we say here is obviously, a lot of guys prefer to wait for the teams making their opinion. And we will even look at perhaps doing a show in the future, maybe, once we have the team selections. But for tonight, anything, you can just let me know if anything stands out here.
Not interesting to say. My Saints call last week just scraped in by a point after they went down quite heavily to Sale. So a nice bet came in with that, and I thought I was dead. I thought it was the Gloucester game that was going to kill me, but someone gave me a ping 20 minutes later and said, "Oh, you're in for a shot here," and they clawed back a few tries. So I like Northampton. and I'm going to support them at home. Irish played Worcester. I expected a lot more from Worcester, so I'm battling to draw out where Irish really are after that game. I think North Saints are where I think they should be. I think this line's a little bit low, but very marginally. At a push, I would go on the Saints minus, just because I think there are just a bit more solid team. They probably can grind out a 10-point win, so that's why. But that's, again, low to medium confidence.
Right, let's go to the next game on the weekend. Harlequins -0.5 point against Saracens. This should be a cracking game as far as the bookies are concerned.
Yeah, cracker jack, isn't it? But Saracens haven't played, right, this season. Well, haven't done your preseason stuff. So this is a spot I often like to play when a team has come off a bye, especially in the start of the season. So Harlequins have had their game. They've had their run out. The Saracens haven't. So I'm not expecting Saracens to come out strong. But, geez, every time I've doubted Saracens, they've kicked me right in the ball bag and proved me wrong. So, but I like, at home, Quins are, they're solid side, top 4 sides. They're going to go helter, let them tongue at each other. Just because Saracens haven't played, Quins are at home. I think Quins might squeak it. This is going to be a perfect alt double for me. I'll be on a Quins plus or Saracens plus when I make the decision closer to the time when I've seen the teams, and I think the weather's going to be good. But this is I love these close, big team, big games. They're often close. They don't draw away from each other often. So a nice alt plus and a double treble will be on the cards with this game.
Right, big split in the live comments there, guys, going both ways.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. Yeah.
Talking about guys going both ways, I certainly met some interesting individuals down in Cape Town at various stages, but I'm not going to elaborate on that. Right, Wasps -2.5 against the Bristol Bears.
Yeah, another interesting one. These teams had interesting games last week, Wasps flying ahead first half. No one expected that. And NW's in the game. Gloucester came through with how we were expecting it. Probably the right results at the end of the game, but not the
way you expected it.
Yeah, the road to that result was a very weird one. Wasps will be killing themselves for that, really. And then Bristol as well. I mean, they went ahead, then Bath came back, and then they won it in the last minute there. So tight game. This is also a tough game to call, to be honest, Brent. Naturally, my eyes points towards overs on this game, but it's also one of those games that can end up being like the Wasp Gloucester game. You're going to love over 51, and it's going to come in. It's going to end up on 49-50. So not a lot of confidence there. I'm going to back Wasps to take it at home, but I still like Bristol. I still say I think the guys who came in last week for them are going to make them strong. I think they're players. I think they're big players for this season. Tough game. Sorry, Brent, not much confidence there.
No problem. Just to mention, we're doing quite well time-wise with all these games. We're still under the hour mark.
Yeah.
I can tell you the total minutes spread was trading at 96.99, and then word broke that the Oracle had load shedding, and the money came for the unders big time on the total minutes of the show. Right, Bath Rugby up against Sale, and that's +1.5 Bath.
Yeah, I guess they Sale. Yeah, they went. Actually, I didn't watch the Saints game. I was watching the Gloucester game. It's just quite hard. I mean, I don't quite know if Sale just switched off when they went so far ahead, because if they did, then they're a much better side than this 1 point. So, and Bath obviously gave Bristol a game. So again, very tricky, very tricky game. I think I saw something from Bath, and I think Bath at home, Sale aren't the best travellers. If it was a little bit higher, I don't know. I think I'm gonna, again, low, not very confident. Again, I want to see the teams. I think Bath have injuries. They might have injuries as well. The home game, yeah. But Sale. This is what I was thinking. Sale's team has changed a lot of bit, and I think they're going to offer a bit more as well. So, but I'm going to go with Bath. I think they showed enough against Bristol that they can beat Sale at home on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and excellent. Certainly nice to have so much choice of rugby this weekend. We've gone from having absolutely no rugby in like a Saturday afternoon.
But now you got like 25 games at the same time, so it's annoying. You got the top 14 at English Prem, URC, they're all overlapping, you know.
And Brendan Wessels, the conductor, saying, well done to the Bath reserve hooker for getting a 2-match ban without even getting on the field. Chris, do you know that story?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Madness.
What happened?
No, he came running across the pitch from the other side of the field. He came running into a scuffle. No need. Like 10 minutes late, got himself sent off.
2-match ban. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Leicester Tigers, the final game of the weekend for us, Chris. Leicester Tigers minus 17.5 against the Newcastle Falcons. Are Leicester as good as they were last season?
Yeah, this is what the guys are calling out last week. I don't know if you caught the show. I was thinking Leicester would be British. I mean, they gave Exeter a game. They just took it to the wire. You would think Leicester at Walford Road are going to be solid for Newcastle. But as I said last week as well, Newcastle, first half of the season, they're up for it. Their tails up. They go in. They've got no injuries. They normally compete in the first half of the season and they fall away. So I expect them to give Leicester a game. So this is not a foregone conclusion by any means. But at a push, gun to head, you would think Leicester cover it.
Right, that brings us to the end then of the Gallagher Premiership.
There was also Exeter Worcester, I think, but I didn't
I didn't have betting on that. Have you seen?
Yeah, there wasn't betting, but Worcester and disarray. You got to think that Exeter are going to have too much power. So I think I don't know what the line's going to be. I think it'll be close to 20 maybe, but I think Exeter probably cover that. I mean, the Irish put them away easily. You would think Exeter would beat them at the same scoreline, to be honest.
It seems as though the bookies are maybe waiting for team news on that one before they price up.
Exeter should be just far too strong for Worcester at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm sure, Chris, if you have any views on that one, you'll obviously share them on Twitter there as well. Yeah. Right, let's go to your best bets. And we've had Hendrik's best bets, but Chris wrapped things up for us. And my best bets, by the way, will be on the newsletter tomorrow sometime. And you can subscribe to that below the show.
I'm aligned, on the book game. I think there's going to be opportunities. I think we're going to have a go at each other. I think so. Right, Argentina home, ref. There's going to be opportunities. I think there's going to be some points. That's my one. I also agree with Bay of Plenty. It just looks right by all accounts that they should be putting Southland away. Like Edinburgh points at home as well as a best bet. And I'm going to stick my neck out and I'm going to say the Bulls are going to cover the cap. Those will be my four big ones.
Okay, no, cool. Going against the Oracle on that one. Sharkbrain, Argentina v SA. We did discuss that up front, Sharkbrain, so you might have been a bit late into the show tonight, but we did discuss Argentina v the Box right up front, so you can just go to the beginning of the show and catch that one. Chris, first of all, to yourself, thanks very much for joining the show. It was a good one. I mean, to come in just under the hour mark, pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, we did well.
Nice and very good. It was impressive. At first, when I saw the list of games, I thought, my word, are we going to be going at midnight tonight? So that's great stuff. And I think some nice confident selections by both yourself and Hendrik there. And then also to all the boys on the live chat, of course, always make the show as well with contributions. Plenty of agreement, plenty of disagreement. But anyway, it's a sharp brain saying, oh, yeah, I was late and I missed that one. But, yeah, guys, certainly we'll see you next week for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. And, let's stay in touch on Twitter and on the Good for the Game forum, of course. Chris, thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Brenty. Take it easy, mate. Cheers, guys.
Just laughing at Nathan. They're saying top 14. Oh, we'll have to do top 14 in a separate show sometime, but there's no ways we can squeeze that baby in. But enjoy the top 14 if you played. I think if they started televising it in SA, it would be a bit different.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, lads. We'll see you next week.